Good afternoon, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to Special Report for Monday, August 17th, brought to you by KC Securities. We're waiting for Doug Ford. He's doing a press conference today for media availability, meaning that he will be taking questions from the media, so we have no idea what direction that will go. My guess is there's going to be a lot of stuff on school, but speaking of schools, Alex Parr did a fantastic article this morning on the back-to-school plans of the local school boards. You can check that out at SiouxOnline.com. It's called School Boards Back-to-School Plans. We made it real easy for you to find. So you can check that out on our homepage. Meanwhile, we are now going to go over to Weather Daniel. What's up, buddy?
Thank you very much, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. We made it through the weekend. We had a bit of a mixed bag on Saturday, but we're going to go into a nice direction with the seasonal temperatures for this week. So we're going to look at the view now, or our live view, which is sponsored by wirelesscom.ca. Check them out on their website for all your telecommunications needs. As you can see, our camera has moved again. We're now looking straight at City Hall in the center there, the Memorial Tower off to the left in the Sault, Michigan, and the International Bridge to the right. And we have a few clouds there up in the sky. That's what you're going to see for most of the day. You're going to see some clouds and the sun will be out. But keep in mind, even though it's only going to be in the low 20s, you still have that UV index to factor in. So make sure that you still have your sunscreen or a hat, because even regardless if there are some clouds as well, you can still get sunburnt. All right, your expected highs for the region today: 25 in Thunder Bay, 21 in Wawa in Timmins, 22 here in Sault Ste. Marie as well as in Elliott Lake, and 23 degrees in Sudbury. The expected lows: 12s in Thunder Bay, Wawa, and Timmins, 14 here in Sault Ste. Marie, and 13s in Elliott Lake and Sudbury. So relatively seasonal overnight temperatures for our region at this time of year. Tuesday, we're looking at about another seasonal day, 21 degrees and sunny. Just that perfect temperature. If you don't like the humidity, you're going to enjoy these few days, because you have that temperature get up there into the mid-20s to the high 20s, and that's when that humidity kicks in, and then it just gets uncomfortable. So you can go out and you can enjoy this and maybe do some kind of physical activity and not worry about sweating so much and just being way too hot. So enjoy that on Tuesday. Wednesday, 23 degrees. Couple clouds, lows of 15 overnight, and then Thursday we may have a thunderstorm, so I've put that icon up there for now. 25 degrees, we bump back up a couple degrees there, and 17 degrees overnight. And then continuing on with your 7-day, Friday we're looking at 24 degrees, mainly sunny with a few clouds once again. And Saturday, again, here we have that chance of a system moving in, and maybe a mixed bag on Saturday with a high of 22, 23 on Sunday, and then 23 on Monday as well, with some sun again. And then your overnight lows are between 14 and 16 degrees, actually 17 there on Thursday, so between 14 and 17 throughout the week, which is a couple degrees above seasonal. All right, this is our Weather Watcher photo for today, which is sent in by Harsheen. He sent this in from the boardwalk, Sault Ste. Marie waterfront there, and they're there enjoying the view. They are new to the city and they love it here, so thank you for sending that in. If you want to send in the photos or videos weather related to ontvweather@gmail.com, include your name and location, and I will get it up on our Weather Watcher segment during the week. And just want to remind everyone, we appreciate when you share the show. Like us on Facebook. It helps us, right? It gets the word out. So click the share button and get the word out to your friends. Tell them to watch on TV for all local news and weather. And we have other content too you're going to see coming up in the fall as well. And also stay connected with us. Go to SiouxOnline.com, go to the Facebook and YouTube and Twitter icons, and you can do everything you need to do there to interact with us on social media. All right, that's your outlook, and I'm going to send it back over to Chris.
Thank you very much there, Weather Daniel, for that update for us. Now, breaking news. This literally just came in. The CFL has canceled their 2020 season because of COVID-19. This will be the first year that the Grey Cup hasn't been played since 1919, so right after World War I. They've obviously, the commissioner, Randy Ambrose, said our league governors decided today it is in the best long-term interests of the CFL to concentrate on the future. We are absolutely committed to 2021, to the future of our league, and the pursuit of our vision of a bigger, stronger, and more global CFL. The CFL was looking for a $30 million interest-free loan from the federal government, which was turned down. So they said even with additional support, our owners and community-held teams would have had to endure significant financial losses to play 2020. Without it, the losses would be so large that they would really hamper our ability to bounce back strongly next year and beyond. The most important thing is the future of our league. So those of you who are waiting for the CFL, it's not going to happen this year, unfortunately. But they are committed to coming back next year to play a full CFL season. Okay, Algoma Family Services Foundation each year, they have what's called the Great Escape Dream Draw. Now, normally it takes place back in May, but because of COVID-19, they delayed it. This year, it's going to be completely online and digital. What it is the 24th anniversary, by the way, of this as well. So the big prizes here are a prize package of a brand new Jayco J-Flight 29 RKS travel trailer. That's supplied by Christie's RV, and a Ford F-150 Crew Cab 4x4 XLT truck. That is supplied by Maitland Ford Lincoln. The prize is valued at over $120,000, or you can have the option of taking a lump sum cash payment of $85,000. Also, there is 15 other prizes totaling at $10,000. Also, there's an early bird draw too. So if you have your ticket before August 25th, 5 lucky winners will take home $1,000 then. And the grand prize draw will happen on September the 29th, along with all the remaining cash prize draws and 10 draws for $500. All the proceeds from this draw will help fund children and youth mental health and programs and services from Algoma Family Services. So it's a great cause. If you want to buy a ticket, you can go to the AFS foundationraffle.ca, and tickets are $20 each. Okay, and now Ontario numbers came out today. There's 99 new cases of COVID-19 and no new deaths, so that's good. 21 of our 34 public health units had 0 new cases, including Algoma, and only 29 of 34 had fewer than 5 cases. They tested about 25,500 people, and that means a positivity rate of 0.39. No surprise here, about 65% of the new cases were in people 39 and under. Toronto led the way with 26 new cases, Peel with 25, Ottawa with 19, and York Region with 7. And today we don't have any hospital data because it was not released because it was incomplete. Okay, we're going to head off to a commercial. We will be right back. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you in just a minute.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road, a few sharp turns, and doing things for what we adore but might regret later? A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place, at the right time, in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
At Maitland Ford Lincoln, we see our trucks everywhere. We see them on Queen Street, Lake Street, North Street, Bay Street, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, Pine Street, Great Northern Peoples Road, Wellington, Cora Road, Bruce Street, Carmen's Way, Northern Ave, Trunk Road. Folks come from all over Algoma District and beyond to buy their truck at Maitland Ford Lincoln. Amazing prices, outstanding service. King Street, Shannon Road, Goulet Bay, Black Road, Government Road, and even on Pine Shores. Yep, our trucks are everywhere. Get yours at Maitland Ford Lincoln, built for Northern life, on Great Northern Road, just north of the hospital.
welcome back to Special Report for Monday, August the 17th, afternoon edition. We're sponsored by KC Securities. We're here every day at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Okay, we're waiting for Doug Ford to come out for his press conference. As you can see on the split screen there, where there's the podium. Okay, so while we're waiting for Doug Ford, and Doug Ford is coming out. Here he is.
Well, good afternoon. This morning, I spoke to representatives from Ontario's 444 municipalities. My friends, it's never been more important to stand together with our municipal partners. And I know that COVID-19 has taken a terrible toll on every community across the province, but I want our municipalities to know that we'll always have your backs. We will get through this together, and we're making steady progress. On average, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen less than 100 daily new cases. Businesses are opening their doors and hiring back people as part of Stage 3. We're firing up our economic engine once again. In June and July, Ontario added back 528,000 jobs. That's 500,000 people back to work. Over 90% of jobs recovered to pre-COVID levels. It's absolutely incredible. And we're going to keep going. We won't stop until every community is back on their feet. That's why we fought and delivered up to $4 billion for our municipalities through the Federal Safe Restart Agreement. Working with our federal partners, we're providing billions of dollars to help municipalities deliver critical services people rely on every single day. And we've already announced the first round of funding for all 444 of Ontario's municipalities, up to $1.6 billion to keep transit systems running and support food banks and homeless shelters. We're providing further certainty to our municipal partners by maintaining the $500 million envelope and structure of the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. My friends, we are getting Ontario back on track. No community will be left behind. We're making historic investments in infrastructure all across the province. $27 billion for our hospitals over the next decade, $12 billion for our schools, $2.6 billion for a provincial highway network this year, $1.75 billion for long-term care beds over the next 5 years. These projects will create hundreds of jobs and generate billions of dollars in economic activity. We are an economic powerhouse in North America, as I always say. We have the people, the resources, the tools to come back stronger than ever before. Thanks to our municipal partners and all 14.5 million people of this province, we are in the strongest position possible. We will recover. We will get Ontario back on track with more prosperity and opportunity than ever before. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. I'll be happy to take questions now, but you know something, folks, I got to give a shout out to Jamie. Great to have you back, Jamie. Hope you're well rested. Jamie follows us all around the province, and he's just an incredible guy there. So good to see you again, Jamie. Good to see you too.
We'll go to the phone line for questions. First question.
First question comes from Lucas Meyer from News Talk 1010. Please go ahead.
Hey, Lucas, how you doing?
Very good, Premier. Thank you very much. And also, agreed. Welcome back, Jamie. Okay, Premier, let's just get right into it here. The TDSB and the ministry are speaking today on a hopeful plan. The new chair did say this morning, quote, "I just don't know why every day we're hearing new information. I don't know that the flexibility is necessarily on their side," speaking of you. Should we take from the government rejecting the plan that would have led to smaller class sizes with a shorter day and less of a funding ask to you, that you're essentially prioritizing a full day over a smaller class size? Or is the board, in your mind, being unreasonable?
No, I can't blame anyone for being unreasonable, but our plan has been pretty solid throughout the whole this whole pandemic, coming in with the education. And I'll tell you, I always say we have to be flexible, and we have been flexible. We have to listen too. So the teachers union, I always differentiate between the teachers union and the incredible teachers that we have. But the teachers union, they wanted HVAC. We went out, we gave them HVAC. They wanted more sanitation. We went out, we gave them more sanitation. They wanted more access to the reserves from the boards. We went out and we gave them more on the reserves. You know, we have 500 nurses coming in, $50 million. We have 1,000 cleaners, custodians. We've increased cleaning, $40 million for buses. Just the cleaning alone, we've increased the spending on buses over 20 million. We're spending, to put it into perspective, folks, we're spending $1 billion in transportation, getting our kids back and forth to school. I guess, Lucas, my point is, throughout this whole pandemic, everyone's been flexible, everyone's getting along. We've, you know, even different political stripes. Why is it that the teachers' unions it's just constant? They constantly want to attack. Why don't you be part of the solution instead of part of the problem? Everything you've asked, we've changed it. Anything you say, I want more cleaning, we gave you more cleaning. You want HVAC, we immediately jumped on HVAC. You know, you want more teachers, we gave you access to the reserves. Like, I just don't know what more they can do, but it's just amazing how every union we've dealt with, private and public sector, have been real assets. And I just want to give a shout out to the teachers. You guys are champions. I know so many teachers after school. They're back there checking homework. They're getting prepped. They're doing everything, and they're going above and beyond. But then when we ask them to be not the teachers union to be flexible, they're telling the teachers don't spend one extra minute, in exact words, one extra minute in the classroom. And I sit back and say, really? That's what the parents want? No, the parents don't want that. They want flexibility for their kids to be in the class. So I'm going to pass it over to the minister.
Yeah, thank you, Premier. Thanks, Lucas, for the question. We just had a very productive discussion with the chair, the director, and the senior leadership team of public health, along with my deputy minister with Toronto District School Board. What we're trying to do is maximize the amount of time a student could be in class in high school. It was proposed originally in one of their earlier drafts at 25% in-class learning with their teacher, and the rest would be effectively live synchronous learning. My job and my hope is to work with the school board to increase that percentage so we could really maximize the amount of time a student has in front of their teacher while, yes, keeping classroom sizes low. It's not an either-or proposition. We want to try to get both done. It was a very constructive discussion and positive. I think it will lead to a resolution. Look, at the end of the day, everyone in the province is stepping up and sacrificing. Everyone is doing the very best, and the school board is working around the clock to build up plans that keep those numbers low and fundamentally allow for a safe restart, and we're grateful for that. But as the Premier recognized, I think we need everyone to be part of that solution, and I think when everyone in our society is sacrificing, I think it's not unfair for parents and for taxpayers and for myself in my capacity as minister to want to know that the unions are going to be part of that solution as well and work with us, be flexible and creative so that we can get kids in class in a safe manner with the fewest amount of students to maximize that distancing that this government has enabled $500 million investment through reserves to be spent on things like distancing and spacing. The final point I'll make is we're working with the Toronto District School Board very collaboratively on spacing and distancing, particularly on accessing additional space within the City of Toronto. I know that the municipality, the mayor, and the City of Toronto has been a partner in this respect, and we're so grateful to Mayor Tory's office for his work. The province is also working with them to give them more space to enable them to have more classrooms that have more social distancing, which we know is important to public health, it's important to our government, it's important to parents in Ontario.
Follow up?
I appreciate, the Premier, the point about the unions. However, I did want to get clarity on the board issue of if it is a prioritization of a full day over a smaller class. And Premier, you've also said multiple times that even if you have 30 kids in a class, well, there's one teacher and one ECE that basically have two cohorts of 15. But Premier, the point is, if they are in the same class, and I don't know the last time you were in a classroom of 30 or 25 kids, but do you really think it's that simple and that 1 meter separation can be maintained?
Look, as I noted, we had a very constructive call with the Toronto District School Board leadership team, making it very clear that we're going to partner, we're going to be creative, and we're going to help them get to a plan that ensures distancing can be achieved. with respect to those elementary class sizes. We're also going to work with them to try to increase the amount of time a student in high school is in front of a teacher in their class. We think that's important as well. It's not about one over the other. It's about trying to ensure both objectives can be achieved. And we think, based on the collaboration that's happening within the school board and the government, that we can do that.
Next question.
Next question comes from Sean Jeffords from the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Hi, Sean.
Good afternoon, Premier. I wanted to follow up on Lucas's questions there about the TDSB and their plan. Specifically, at the elementary level, I understand that the TDSB proposal would have cut back daily in-class time for elementary students by about 48 minutes in order to push prep time for teachers to the end of the day. What is it about that plan that is unacceptable to the government?
Well, again, I'll pass it over to the minister. He's been dealing with the TDSB. Thank you.
We're spending the past days and the coming hours focusing on getting to a resolution. What we're asking school boards, particularly our unions, to do is to provide the maximum flexibility for school boards to enable them to teach a child for the entire duration of the day, to the extent that is possible. There's 300 instructional minutes, 300 minutes of learning in a day in Ontario. We want all of that time to be used to the extent humanly possible for learning. And we think parents expect that, and we want them to know that we stand with them in that. And so we're working very closely with the school boards to achieve that. And when we had heard a plan representing about 25% in-class learning by an educator, we heard from parents saying that seems really low. And so we're working with the school board collaboratively, as we have done with every element of society, all levels of government, all stakeholders, all public-private sector unions right across Ontario, to sort of do what's right when it comes to flattening the curve and ensuring a good quality experience, be it in education or health or any ministry that we're leading in. So I think there is a way forward. We just ask for flexibility. We ask for everyone to be part of that solution. And if they are, I think we'll get to a plan and by their board meeting tomorrow.
Follow up.
Minister, we're also hearing from supply teachers today who say that they're concerned that the nature of their work will take them into multiple schools and put them into contact with many students, which in turn increases their risk of contracting and spreading COVID-19. Should the government take a similar approach to supply teachers that it did with PSWs working in multiple long-term care homes and ban that practice and limit them to only working in one school?
Yeah, we've effectively done that. Our guidance already says to school boards that those supply teachers, vocational teachers really need to be, to the extent humanly possible, focus on one school or a small limit of schools for that supply. We are trying to minimize the contact of cohorts for the student and likewise for the staff member. So that's already the case, and we're emphasizing that each and every day as we work with our school boards. The other thing that's unique in Ontario that No Province is doing is we've allocated $10 million to do professional development and training for health and safety in the context of how to manage some of the protocols and implement them for all teachers full-time and likewise for vocational teachers and supply teachers, which ensures that no matter who you are, if there's a student that has a supply teacher on a day in the week, that educator will have the exact same professional development and health and safety training to ensure that they know exactly what to do under any circumstance, including if symptoms arise or a child becomes ill or anything like that. So that's the type of proactive thinking the government has put in to ensure everyone that walks into our schools that is an educator or a staff member, that they have that training and that they know that the school boards are working hard to minimize contact between schools for the very reason you cited, to minimize contact and really to strengthen the integrity of the cohort.
Next question.
Next question comes from Tina Yazdani from City News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, question is also for the Education Minister. So I just wanted to follow up on that TDSB plan to shorten the school day. Parents say 48 minutes is inconsequential when it comes to the safety of their kids. You've said repeatedly you're asking for flexibility. They too are asking for the government to be flexible here. Does it defeat the purpose having school boards come up with their own plans if the government is just going to veto them?
Well, the government is going to collaborate with them to ensure that it maximizes the educational experience from a pedagogical perspective, from an educational perspective. We need to work with them to ensure that we really get the most out of that learning experience, given the challenges of the last year. And I think parents want us, yes, absolutely, to prioritize health. And that is, of course, the very basis why we closed schools in the first place in this country, the first to do so. It's why we have a leading plan in this nation by virtually every measurement to ensure that from testing to screening to cleaning to public health nurses to the hiring of 1,300 custodians to asymptomatic testing within our schools, unique elements only Ontario has. We led the way in masking from grade 4 up. We're encouraging boards that are willing to consider masking even below grade 4. I mean, every step of the way, we've enabled them to do what's right. But we also have a role to ensure that we get public health, that our health standards are met, but that we ensure that its child has a positive learning experience. And then what I'm suggesting is public health will always triumph in these discussions. But I think it is important that we try to maximize and push the system to get the very most learning experience for a child in Ontario. And that's what we're doing very constructively with the Toronto District School Board in real time.
Follow up.
Thank you for that. The next question for the Premier comes from my colleague Faiza Amin. With the majority of post-secondary learning going online, students can stay home and housing. One particular.
Sorry, Tina, you're breaking up. Can you start over?
To negotiate with them. Now they're on the hook to pay thousands of dollars for accommodations their son won't need. They're, of course, not the only ones in this situation. What is your government doing to help?
Tina, you're going to have to repeat your question. You're breaking up.
I apologize, Tina. You were breaking up there.
Oh, sorry about that. So it's about student housing, and the majority of post-secondary learning going online, a lot of students won't need it anymore. One family in particular says the student housing company they signed a lease with isn't willing to renegotiate, and now they're on the hook to pay thousands of dollars for accommodations their son won't need. They're, of course, not the only ones in this situation. So what is your government doing to help?
Well, I'll bring this up I'll mention this to the Minister of Colleges and Universities. And ever since day one, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you, but I promise you one thing, we will get back to you by the end of the day once I get that answer. But you make a good, valid point. If they've signed these leases, we've got to protect the students.
Okay, next question.
No fault of their own.
Next question comes from Vic Adopia from CBC News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Vic.
Hi there. We're already seeing this in other provinces. Is it possible that the first day of school could be pushed back until there's an agreement between the school boards and the province on class sizes, staffing requirements, and all those COVID safety measures?
Vic, I'll pass it over to the Minister. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. I mean, as I indicated last week, we put out a guidance to school boards saying that flexibility is going to be really important to allow school boards the time to get this right. We know what's at stake here when it comes to getting, in the case of Toronto, hundreds of thousands of young people back into school safely in September. So I've indicated I'm comfortable with the staggered restart to enable school boards a couple extra days. We're going to be flexible. I've made this known to chairs and directors over the past days that we're going to be partners with them to ensure a child can get into class safely, that we minimize the first day of school where you have the entire class, the entire school congregating on day one. We just want to make sure that public health is number one, our top priority. And so if they need a bit more time to do it, we will work with them to achieve that. And ultimately just make sure that kids are safe when they start school in September.
Follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Next question.
Next question comes from Randy Rath from CHCH-TV. Please go ahead.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Premier. I'm just wondering about the CFL, your view. They've canceled their season. Do you think that's it for the CFL? Do you think they'll come back next year, or do you think that league's done?
Well, you're talking to a big football fan. I hope the CFL comes back. I know the Feds denied the $30 million, but, you know, it's so important in so many parts of this country. It's important here in Toronto and Ontario, Hamilton, and in Ottawa, but it's really, really important in Saskatchewan. And, you know, we have one of the Saskatchewan girls right here. She's a big Rough Rider fan, and especially Calgary, Edmonton, BC. So it's important. And let's pray that they come back next year, stronger than ever.
Okay, thanks. Also, the Mayor of Hamilton went on CHCH-TV this weekend and told us that you're wrong, that it's not his decision whether he allowed drinking in parks, that it's you guys have to.